They didn't see us at all. We don't exist. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the GeekVerse podcast, episode 502. Oh my God, we're on that trek now to 1,000. Not really, that's a long way, but still, I feel like that's like people always discount that. I feel, and I guess I'm doing that too. Of like you got 500, and the next one's the big 1000. But I am the Clown Prince of Podcast, Tress now, and I'm joined by.
I am the Ironheart caster, Dylan Moss.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
I am the DC panel, Taylor Field.
Okay, so I think
Here it
Dylan,
comes.
Dylan, a very clever one. Good play on Adam Heartcast, everything that. Mine, I just went the classic because we got we're talking about a little DC tonight. We got that on Saturday. You just went the full Monty of just DC panel. Like, what is your mind frame behind that password?
We're talking DC today, and also in addition to that, we're talking Comic-Con this weekend. And what better way to broadcast and promote that than literally labeling myself the DC panel? Because we'll be there.
I guess so.
I feel like with the general nickname of Field of Fields, I feel like you're not giving yourself much room for puns and clever wordplay to sub in other words.
What would you have given me then? What was a good
Well,
pun
that's
to
what I
play
mean.
off this?
There isn't anything that quickly comes to mind.
The panel
so.
of panels, the DC,
Yeah,
DC.
the
panel of panels.
Yeah. I got to ask you guys because I'm not sure. I know Taylor's using a desktop. Dylan, you using a desktop as well?
Yes.
Okay, so I hadn't done it in the longest. Yeah, you're using a mouse is what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I hadn't done it in the longest time, but I had to because I'm training someone at work, so I had to bust open a laptop, and they had a terrible mouse touchpad situation, so that they had a mouse there. I plugged it in, and I've used in my home because I don't have a desktop. I've used my Mac for so long that I kind of forgot what a mouse felt like,
Oh,
and
God.
I feel like I'm gonna have to buy one and go back to it. I really do because it's just not the same. I feel like I get things done quicker with the mouse. I feel like I got more control, and I'm not spiking on the touchpads for places, but it's just once I was using, it's man, it's good to be back home.
Look at this one. Changes colors.
Wow.
And when it changes, each color is a different sensitivity.
Oh, okay.
Which I only ever use one, so it's more just to show off. But
It's not a mood setting or something.
I cannot use touchpads. I'll do it if I need to, but I really don't like it at all. I don't have the level of control that I need in my life, and things like scrolling or if you're trying to drag, that's no good.
I feel like you're the same, Taylor, because I talked about that and you winced in pain when I talked about touchpads.
I had to do my whole design curriculum for the most part in college without a mouse. I use a mouse pad and coding and stuff and designing with that. I got used to it, and finally I just thought I'm just gonna buy a wireless mouse. A mouse in general's no flack against trackpads because I understand some people's situations, but it's gonna honestly shave a good fraction of a few seconds off your performance.
Why were you not allowed to use a mouse?
Yeah, I was gonna
I'm
ask
not
that
not
next.
allowed as a poor choice of words. They just didn't supply us that. They gave us our design tablets, our computers, everything, all the gear and all the necessities, just not a mouse. It's they got trackpads. That's all they need. So if we want a mouse, we had to go buy one.
Oh, and cheap Taylor's not going to buy a mouse of his own.
No,
he
I
did
did.
eventually, but okay.
It's $20.
Well, you got to
for
get
a
the
crap
good kind.
You want to get a good one. Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind going to the old dinosaur ones with the little ball inside. I miss those mouse so much. Oh.
Those weren't bad. And the other thing I got to find though is the right mouse pad, because I feel like that's key. Because if you don't got the right one, and I got
that's true.
I don't got much room in my setup here, so I got to change some things around. But definitely,
I've got a wrist rest on this one, which is quite nice.
Ooh.
I got to
There you
say.
go.
No arthritis for you.
Yeah.
That's
This was supplied
tagline.
by the place I work for, so I didn't have to buy this.
Oh wow, I got to con
Not
my
like
work
not like
into
Taylor's college. I'm not getting cheaped out by my
Yeah.
work.
Well, we got a busy week. We've done some newscasts. I haven't got to listen to it yet, but you and Kirklin did I imagine it was a spicy. At least I just see the topic. Okay, this is going to be a spicy one. I'm excited to listen to it here soon, but you guys did a side quest all about Lord of the Rings, so how was that one for you?
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, we talked about the myriad Lord of the Rings games that exist. Many that we haven't played, we didn't even know existed.
Oh.
And I got so hyped. I'm like looking at my used game store. I'm like, oh, I got to go buy a bunch of these things. I found out about Lord of the Rings Tactics today. I got to go buy that, even though it's only on a PSP. So I don't know how I'm going to do that. Travis, you never replied. Do you own a PSP?
Never did, no.
Okay.
Never once in my life. No, I don't know why. I guess I just didn't. Even with the Switch, I don't game on the go too much because I'm biking most places, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, and I guess there's the odd times where I used to do like a trip out to Vancouver, this and that, but I guess it wasn't enough that I was gaming on the go so much. And I guess there's the bus, but lots of times when I take the bus, it's like school time in the winter and it's like elbow to elbow. There's no room to sit, and I'm not going to stand up and play my Switch and hope that the bus driver's not going to brake hard, you know. So I'm probably the same with the PSP. So
You're not one of those guys that sets up the console on like the subway with the TV and everything like that.
I am not on a subway.
Hands a Joy-Con to random strangers. Like,
yeah, come on,
let's play
just
arms.
just like the commercial. Yeah. We're playing basketball, and then man, I can't remember. I still can't believe I thought the Switch was going to be such a bomb, but here we are. You know, it's doing well. So hashtag Travis told you wrong.
Yep.
And we promoted it. We're doing the Nope review this week, but that's going to be on the Friday, I believe, as right now. So look out for that. It'll be in your podcast feeds. But in the weekend, you're going to get, at least I know, 4 casts. You're getting the Marvel Animation one, you're getting Nope, you're getting the DC panel, and the Marvel one. All I can say is I know the Marvel one will be going live at 6 p.m. The other ones will be kind of dropping throughout the feeds throughout the week and whatnot. But lots of good stuff. Taylor, where can they find that in all our Comic-Con coverage going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerseCast is our Twitter, and GeekVerse on our Facebook.
Yeah, and then best thing to do is follow those 2 things because we will be promoting when we're going live and stuff. I think we've narrowed down to I've heard 11 a.m. for the DC panel. I've heard 10 a.m., but that's why I look at the social media when we go live on Marvel, when we're doing our crossover Marvel Alliance, which is going to be lots of fun. Look out for all of that. Everything we do is down below. Our feeds, our way to subscribe, our Discord, audio, video, and most importantly, Patreon. The more you support us, the more content we can produce, the more we can do. For the patrons, for the people on the Phase 4 tier, you guys got one more day to vote on the Brad. Yeah, I said it right. Brad Pitt retro roll.
Yeah, you got
no, I said I said poll wrong. I said roll. See, and there's an extra R coming somewhere. I could feel it back in my brain, but no, the Brad Pitt retrospective roll in honor of Bullet Train, which I'm not promising anyone else. Did I? Damn it! I'm not promising any one of us is doing the Bullet Train review. I might see it if I got time, but what we said a couple months ago is you guys are going to start to pick Patreon retrospectives and things like that. Never series, but just one-offs and stuff we could review. And this is the first one. And there's a whole whack of choices. There's like Megamind, 7, Interview with Vampire. There's 6 choices, so go vote. I don't want to reveal right now what's in the lead. I don't want to tip anyone's favor and everything like that. And the patrons, as I said before, don't vote for what you put in because we can see who voted for what. And
Did anyone try?
No one tried. We so far have honorable patrons so far. So, go to that, and then we'll be dropping that around Bullet Train time. But yeah, Comic-Con this weekend, lots of big stuff popping off. So Patreon, you get a whole bunch of exclusive ad-free early episodes, 3 exclusive episodes, access to After 9, all that good jazz. So here we are. We're back. So I feel like there's like a revolving door. Maybe we should do this as like a bread and butter once of like topics we've talked about a million times. And I feel like talking about the Switch when we were talking about, what was it, the Nintendo, it was the NX, right, back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that was one where every 2 months there'd be a new leak, a new rumor, everything like that. Oh, this is happening right now. You know, it's going to be happening this week. This Nintendo Direct never did, right? Then we got some event in Japan, everything. And I feel like probably since 2017, which was the release of the original Justice League, multiple times we've talked about, AK, there's always been rumors of, oh, Henry Cavill's coming back. Henry Cavill's done. He's done this and that. And we had that with Ben Affleck, right? And he was done. And then he was back in. Well, the reason we're talking about it again is because this week obviously is Comic-Con. As of right now, DC has a panel on Saturday morning, and they have just 2 things announced for it, Black Adam and Shazam. Now, they've not been like Marvel where they announced it as a Marvel said, hey, we're doing a Marvel panel on Saturday. DC announces, hey, we're showing off Black Adam and Shazam. So it's very much like, okay, maybe there's some other surprises they're holding back, but really they're at least just advertising these two things. Well, Deadline today had to kick the hornet's nest and be like, well, we're here. And Deadline, an A-tier place and stuff like that. We're hearing buzz about Henry Cavill coming back as, well, just making an appearance at Comic-Con as Superman. Well, not as Superman. I doubt he'll show up there in the cape and everything like that, but making an appearance and talking about his future as Superman, supposedly, right? And they say buzz, so we don't know where that comes from. That could be, I think, as they said it, it's either two things. Either they're hearing stuff from somebody, or they just want to get a lot of clicks and traction, which could be working out. But we've had this kind of running game before where The Rock the past 2 weeks has been teasing this. There was, Dylan, I'm not sure if you'd heard about this rumor, but you remember Shazam, where Superman had a cameo, but his head was cut off?
No, I don't remember that cameo.
Okay, well, yeah,
But
there
I'll
was a
take your word
cameo.
for it.
Yeah, there was a cameo where Shazam's like, "Oh, I brought a friend to lunch," and Superman walks in and they cut off his head because at that point Henry wasn't under contract. And a few weeks ago, there was a rumor that the same thing was going to happen with Black Adam. So people were getting mad of like, "Oh, it's Henry Cavill. He's not going to be back in it," and everything like that. Cavill. I don't know why I keep calling him Cavill. It's the weird Canadian accent. So all this stuff is going on, but supposedly there might be a surprise appearance. So I want to start with you because, like I said, we've talked about this many times, but we have to just mention it and talk about it because it comes up again, right? And I feel like we've had this before, even with the stupid Superman video game. I feel like that's a game. Now I think that game is dead. But I remember for years there's so many times like, oh, Rocksteady, they're working on it, and I think what happened was they were just working on Suicide Squad that had Superman in it, and a lot of people maybe read some stuff wrong. But now, Taylor, we're at this thing. We're 48 hours away from this panel. Are we going to get something here? Because people had theorized that, in Black Adam, the reason you might be getting that headless cameo because they did test screenings is maybe they're trying to work things out with Henry, and last minute, boom, Henry's back in. Because all it takes is sign the dotted line, some money. And Dylan, I don't know, you probably remember this as well, that Warner Brothers last year, they got bought out by new people. So that's kind of why people are hopeful in a sense that it's new owners. Maybe they're going to, have an idea to bring back Henry. Because it seems like even people that, don't like most of Snyder's stuff, everyone's like, yeah, sure, bring Henry back. And Taylor, we were talking about this privately, but the Zack Snyder Justice League movie came out on digital this week. It charted number 3, which is pretty impressive for a movie that is, over a year old. It's hanging up there with Jurassic World. So where are you on the Henry Cavill of it all as far as this Saturday? Do you get an appearance from Henry Cavill as Superman? Or just, no, I keep saying as Superman.
Just specifically Superman.
Henry Cavill at the DC panel.
As
I'll say
Clark
that.
Kent.
Yeah, yeah, that's an easy one with the glasses and stuff. But
I am inclined to say yes. I think that it's a no-brainer. I feel like DC is in a situation right now where I think they need to capitalize on a good, successful portion of their brand and everything they've created in this universe. And Henry Cavill was fantastic. Like, he's definitely great in the DC universe. But whenever I think back to that Shazam scene and the head's cut off, that just like sucks. It really, really does suck. It's just brutal. It just feels like a cop-out. Like, this almighty, powerful corporation couldn't land this guy's head right there. They just had to do him in like that. It's just rough. So I think that announcing him would be a great surprise. It'd be fantastic, and people would generally be just buzzing with hype and excitement. They'd all be going online because, like you said, Justice League, people are still super, super jazzed to be seeing. There it is, the wonderful shot. Oh my goodness. People are jazzed to see Henry Cavill back in Justice League, the Snyder Cut. People are excited to see that universe kind of expanded upon. So I think that when you bring him in, because he's done Men of Steel, Justice League,
don't forget
and
about
Batman
BVS.
versus Superman. Yeah, so that's just, man, it just feels like that's not enough to really capitalize on this character. Like, the only real development we got was in Man of Steel with his character, his portrayal of Superman. And I do feel like we got a little bit more just the balance of him trying to deal with being this almighty powerful being in BVS, but it definitely was much more adding in a lot of other undertones with Ben Affleck's Batman and Lex Luthor. So you don't really get the full-on focus and concentration on his prime development. I'd love to see just another standalone Man of Steel film where we've done everything, we've come across all these adventures and tribulations, and now we can build off of that and see where he is now. He died, and he just walked that off. So what's he doing now?
I think he flew it off. That'd probably
flew
be
it off,
the
yeah.
correct term and stuff like that. What about you, Dale? Because I know you still have not seen, which I know you probably never will, the Zack Snyder's Justice League, but we got that
No.
last year. So technically, he's been in like the 4, but it's really he filmed no footage for that one.
Mhm.
But that was so it's this weird thing of like technically the last time really he played the role was in 2017, and now it's my God, what is that?
That's so
5
long
years
ago,
now.
man. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's 5 years now. So I feel like for us,
How's
it's sometimes
that been 5 years? That's
Yeah.
actually mind blowing. Yeah.
I feel
Wow.
like for us, like for me, even it feels less than that because like, oh, we got that movie last year, but that was
Yeah.
just old footage. They didn't use anything. Other actors did come back to film stuff, but he didn't. But
Did he have any new scenes that like weren't in the original cut?
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
almost everything from his resurrection on, because the before in the old one, the resurrection on was when he had the mustache, so they had to
Oh, yeah, the
reshoot.
mustard.
Yeah, they had
I
to
remember that,
reshoot
yeah.
all that. So all that stuff was new things and like that, and he had the black suit instead of the red suit.
Where was he with like promotion for Snyder Cut? Was he like promoting it, like get hyped? I'm excited for you guys to see more footage. Like it's fun for you guys to see more of this character. Where was he at with that?
He promoted it enough, I'd say. He made a post about it, but he also was on the announcement video with Snyder. Like when they did the official, hey, this cut's happening, it was him,
Okay.
Zack, and Zack's wife, because Zack's wife's also a producer as well. So those were the three, like, hey, this is happening. And then he posted about it, and then I think he went back, because I don't think he's actually like a big social media active type of gentleman. I think he is one of those that feels like the account sometimes might be ran by just like somebody that's like, go see this movie that's happening this week, So
Sure.
one, do you have any interest in, like, because you got DC stuff happening, but do you have any interest in him actually coming back? And then two, and I guess more the biggest thing is, do you believe it this time? Because we've talked about this before, and yes, you would appreciate this. He only posts his PC builds. He one time streamed himself, I think, for like 5 hours just building a PC. Lots of women were thirsting over it because it was just him in a tank top, and it was a lot of flexing. It was a lot of moving around. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. But yeah, where are you on this? Like, is this something you even believe? Because like I said, I feel like we've talked about this every year, where something comes up, but this time it's like it's that kind of, well, it's around Comic-Con time and things leak, and you have like an A-tier website saying we're hearing some buzz, but at the same time it could just be, hey, we can get some monetization if we put out this article, like we heard some buzz. They didn't confirm it, right? They said, oh, we're just hearing buzz, something's a brewing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess to answer that first question of do I want to see it or am I excited for it? Like you said, it's 5 years ago now that that movie came out. But I do remember liking him in that movie for all the problems that had. I remember he was a standout for me, which I wasn't a fan of the character before that. So that was a surprising thing for me. So, I mean, and yeah, I think he fits the part. I think he's great at it. So I'd be down. I don't know if I believe this. Just I don't know if he comes out if there's nothing to announce with it. Like if he's like has a cameo in Black Adam, I don't see him coming to the Comic-Con stage to like build up this whole thing. If he's just like just some cameo in or some small part even. And I don't know. Like, is there anything else on the horizon that he would be in? Like, let's say. Like, not talking about like a Superman sequel, which let's say that's just unannounced and they're thinking about announcing it or something. But is there just other like, there's no other team up thing that I'm aware of? Like maybe another Wonder Woman movie that he would appear. Is there anything that would make sense for him to appear in?
Because the problem is right now they got their movies for next year and they got nothing else announced. Now I think that's on purpose because I think the new management's trying to figure out the rumor, and it's not even like because everyone's joked about this, like, oh, they need a Feige. The actual rumor that has been going around is these new owners want to give DC maybe its own studio. So the same way how like, yeah, of course Feige has to report to somebody, but he's like the runner of his own studio. It's never been like that with Warner Brothers. It's Warner Brothers looking after Harry Potter, DC all at the same time. So there is a rumor they're trying to find something, but as of right now, you have Flash, Aquaman, and Batgirl next year, and then there's been no movies announced. So that's where it's like there's nothing, and those are all filmed already. So there's nothing even in the horizon. So I think if he were to come out, it would be another film or something teaming up in the future. Because I've always said if it is just a cameo in Black Adam, I know they might want the crowd, but I feel like maybe wouldn't you want to save that for the movie? But then at the same time, maybe it builds up more success or more hype because maybe we don't see people's tracking. Maybe they've seen Black Adam like trailer reviews and whatnot, and they're not loving what they're seeing. I don't know, but it would be weird if he just has a cameo. I'd say just save that for the movie, but maybe it's to come out and say something else, I guess.
Yeah.
So you don't think like in the Flash even?
I think they could rework it now, but I think because Supergirl's in that, she gets the spotlight over there. That's to showcase her off and things like that. And plus, like, that's like, I feel like it is almost the perfect time. They're cousins. You could easily do a Man of Steel sequel with the both of them. Like, it's strange. Like, it sounded like originally Supergirl was introduced to be the
Wait,
successor,
the
and like,
characters are cousins or the actors?
the characters, not the yeah, no, yeah, both. No, they made sure like Henry, but no, I feel like that's just like prime potential. But it sounded like they were trying to set up Supergirl as the maybe a successor to Cavill and not bring him back and use. But that was the old management. Now we got new management for the third time with Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, like I could see him coming back at some point. I just don't know if he would do it here. If there's nothing to go along with it, I think if he comes out on stage and there's like nothing to announce with it, and he doesn't say like I'm doing another movie as Superman, like none of that, which I just don't see that happening. Then I don't see the point. I think something better for them would be, talk about like get some articles out there, whatever, that we're working on this project that would involve a Superman character. Just say Superman, and then like next Comic-Con or whatever it's relevant, then you bring Cavill out to say that it's played by him or something like that. More down that road. I just feel like now is a good time for them to play it safe. Like they've got some good things in the works. They've also got some messy things, but I think they don't want to just overpromise right now, and I don't know what the announcement would be. Like I take them for their word that it's Black Adam and Shazam, and that's it. So
that'd be such an underwhelming situation. Henry Cavill walks up on stage. He's like, "Hey, we're gonna roll a new trailer for Black Adam for you," and that's it.
Unless he has like they show off that scene, but like, and I do agree. Fanboy Clay says, "Is it even exciting to announce what would have been a secret cameo?" But I think if it's just a cameo, yeah, you don't do it. But at the same time, I do think if Henry Cavill, because you look at the Shazam thing, right? The reason that didn't happen is because they couldn't agree on terms. There's rumors. What I've heard back and forth from some people is that it was they wanted him for too low and he wanted it for too high. They just couldn't meet on the money. Whatever they wanted to do more. And I do think if he were to walk out, yeah, maybe it would spoil Black Adam cameo, but I think that would maybe solidify that, hey, he's going to be around a little longer, or he's going to be back in something, whether it is a team up, and maybe that's just laying the groundwork for whether they do fandom again or a Comic-Con next year, where I do want to get to the state too, where DC had, like they did this years ago, it didn't go well, but I want them to do a state where they can throw out their big, wall of titles and like, this is what we have coming out in 5 years and stick to it. Like you look at the original plans that they threw out, there was a Green Lantern movie, there's a Cyborg movie, Flash movie was supposed to be out 2 years ago in that original plan, and that thing, it's like, I would love it if they could do that, and maybe that's when you save him. But I do think that there's still excitement for, obviously, if he walks out, you get that crowd going, he trends, that is a big moment if you have him come back, because it's been 5 years. That just at least gives people hope. And I think that the idea is, because Rock's been promoting it for years, that he wants to fight Superman. If you can get an image of Black Adam, aka The Rock, and Superman staring down, I think that is that's like a website that drives a lot of traction, that gets people excited.
If he had a major part in Black Adam, though, like they would have marketed that from the beginning, I feel.
I think so, yeah. I don't think it. I think it would. I think this would literally be them spoiling the cameo then, and that's where it's just like, is that worth it? I don't know. Like it depends how juicy the cameo is, but
I also feel like from Cavill's perspective. Like, yes, you said he was there promoting the Snyder Cut, so that's, a sign that he's still interested in some way, but that also could be just, like, he got a paycheck to do that kind of thing. Like, if he hasn't acted as this character in, like, 6-7 years at this point, like, I don't know, maybe he wants to move on. I haven't listened to any interviews. Maybe he's always talking about, he does,
yeah.
Okay.
He's always like, if they want me to do it, I'll do it. He's
That's
very much like
then,
Hemsworth, where he but I think he wants it also still for the right price, though,
Yeah.
I did not know that DC said, or as Pop said, DC did the slate the same week Marvel did their Phase 3 slate. Is that true? Oh, my God. I'm trying to find it out, but this was, I wanted to pull up again my last point. I guess my last thing is that I actually just... because I've talked to some people, and I've talked to some people that know some things, and they're pretty positive on it, but they always still would tell me, like it's definitely not 100%. And I was like at a 60-40 of believing it. I'm very 50-50, but I guess where I will tip to and say I'm a 51-49, and I would say no as of right now, just because I feel like you could save a little bit. And also too, there's some reports that he's filming in England and people are like, oh, you can do it virtually. You definitely can, but I think that's not the same extent. If you have Henry Cavill come back and you want a crowd, you can put on a computer screen and it's fine. But like, no, you want him to come out and like have that crowd, that roar. You want to have the same way when Mahershala Ali walked out 3 years ago and everyone just lost his blade. But no, I pulled the Slate just because I want to see it.
This is a very funny image to look back on.
Yeah. So I was wrong. Not 2 years ago. 4 years ago, The Flash was supposed to be out. So Man of Steel, that happened. BVS, Squad, okay, Wonder Woman, and Justice League Part 1. So that was supposed to happen. Justice League Part 2 never was a thing. They got rid of that.
Well, I mean, Snyder Cut. It's kind of a part 2.
Yeah, that was their Part 2. Yeah. The Flash, 2018. Shazam. So the Shazam did hit. And then Cyborg, and then Green Lantern. And
was Shazam 2019, though? Was that the correct year?
Yeah, it was.
I guess it would have been because it was pre-pandemic, right?
Yeah, and it came out the same year. Oh, yeah.
It definitely didn't come out in 2020.
No. It came out during Endgame time, I think. Unless it's 2018. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me take a look. Shazam.
And then Birds of Prey. That was 2020.
That was 2020, right before the pandemic. And
do you think that's what one of these untitled DC films from the slate was?
I think so.
Like
yeah.
2019 gets pushed back. Like it was like February, so it was almost 2019.
Or I think just like untitled Harley Quinn sequel, like something like that, and then transformed into Birds of Prey. But yeah, it was early 2019, and then Birds of Prey was because that was like right before the pandemic and stuff like that.
And then obviously the other Suicide Squad was not in the consideration at that point.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, maybe a sequel was thought about, but yeah.
Yeah, but no, I'm the same like what Dylan said. I'm just expecting those two to happen, and because this deadline put this out, and The Rock has I think unfortunately kind of promoted the Superman being in the film a little too much, that if it's not Henry, he will disappoint people. I think what's going to happen is they're going to start with Black Adam, and then they're going to move into Shazam, and the crowd will be disappointed, but The Rock's smart enough that he's not going to put himself in front of a disappointed crowd. So everyone's going to hope that at the end of this panel, something's going to happen, and then he'll leave. And Zachary Levi will come out, and the room will kind of because you want that Comic-Con surprise. Yeah. You want that moment. You traveled, pay all that money, but... All in the Game says, aren't Marvel and DC big enough to host their own annual thing and leave Comic-Con to everyone else who needs the spotlight more? Well, there's two things I feel about that, where I feel like once those two leave, Comic-Con doesn't get the same spotlight it does. Like, we'll see, but I feel like there's not that big of brands that, as those guys would bring it up. And also, it is strange because DC started DC Fandom. They've not said if they're doing a third one this year. And... like Marvel's doing D23 this year, and even people joked about with Miss Marvel where you could do like a Avengers Con. You could completely do an Avengers Con now with all the MCU stuff. So I don't know why they haven't. I don't know if it's just a legacy thing. I don't know if it's a sort of thing where, hey, you can promote some stuff right now. Like, you can promote She-Hulk at Comic-Con. You can't do that at D23, right? Because the show's already out. So maybe that's the idea of just, hey, it's two hot spots to do it. What about you? Because, Dylan, I feel like we've talked about this with even E3. Where do you feel on the Comic-Con side of, like, they're both back this year, first Comic-Con with live people, but do you think they continue this, or do you think they eventually move away with their own things like they have done?
Well, they already have their own things. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't want to do both. Comic-Con's a great branding thing. It's like a known entity. So, yeah, and I don't see it as them like taking away the spot from a smaller person, because it's like, the Marvel panel is on Saturday at whatever time. If it wasn't at that time, it's not like we would obviously just be tuned in to whatever the panel would be in that slot. It's not really how it works. So. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably a great partnership from both sides. Comic-Con gets a lot of eyes, and a lot of people want to come to that. And then, Marvel, DC get a place that's going to have like great marketing. Everyone's going to know what's happening, and they'll, get a big spotlight on it, and all the press will be there. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they would go through the hassle of like setting up their own Avengers Con when they can just show up at Comic-Con and do the same thing, and then they still have D23. They still have DC Fandom as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I see that argument.
Taylor, where are you on that?
Well, it's kind of about like just flooding the market, really. You have all these different avenues that you can pursue. You know that the world is watching Comic-Con. It's been this old classical event that everyone gathers, cosplay, reveals, everything. It's huge. So it doesn't make sense to me why you would opt out of that when it's just an avenue that someone else is hosting and has created. And it's a platform that they're like, hey, you want to pay this amount of money and just showcase your stuff because we've got such a high view rate and everything like that. So it only makes sense for DC or Disney, Marvel, just be like, yeah, sure, we'll definitely rent a spot. Now, if you were to compare it to something like, I don't know, like E3, where it's slowly transitioning out or whatever.
Hey, it's coming back next year, E3.
It's coming back, yeah, coming back with a bang, yeah. I
Henry's
think
going to be there.
Henry Cavill is.
He's going to play the next Geralt in the next Witcher game.
Yeah. Sorry, old actor. We replace you with Henry.
But I just think that it would be a silly opportunity, a silly waste of an opportunity not to explore and take advantage of Comic-Con. It's just, that's where reveals happen. It's a huge thing, right? And I mean, for us as a podcast, like E3 and Comic-Con, those are the two big like hunkas, right? For the year. So
Yeah, it was back in that's what we had. And now there's so many. It's even grown in the 7 years we've talked about how many panels and announcements and stuff like that. I remember when we covered D23, and that's when they announced Hulk was going to be in Thor Ragnarok, but it was just like this little Disney insider show for a little bit. Now it's like, oh, we're going to do this big thing. So. Well, we'll see. We'll be there Saturday. We'll talk about if it happens. I hope it happens. I'm excited for Adam and Shazam, but man, I want to be on that cast where it's just like, and at the end of the day, I do remember when the Snyder Cut happened, there was a few days before it happened where it's like, hey, it looks like this thing might actually get announced. Now that was reported by a bit more people, but you know what? Crazier stuff has happened. So we'll see. Let's throw to our first ad break and we will be right back. And we're back. So yeah, let's talk about the other side of the coin. Let's talk about the Marvels. Now, we're going to talk about the Word musical, but we're not talking about Joker 2. We're talking about the Marvels being a musical. So what it is apparently it's not the entire film that would be a musical, but what they go to, I don't know if it's all three of them, one of them, but it sounds like it's going to be like a big globe-trotting movie. Lots of planets, lots of universes, expected with Captain Marvel. But it sounds like they're going to go to some location or some planet where I've heard a good portion. I don't know what that means. I don't know. A good portion could be 10 minutes of somebody. It could be a whole act. I don't know. But apparently a good portion of the Marvels will have a musical feature where the location or planet they go, that everyone just sings. They don't speak normally. They sing. That is their form of speaking. So, Dilmas, what do you think about this? Because past few months we got Joker 2. You know, that's going to be a musical. Oh, Espub said he's seen 1/3 of the movie. Oh my God, this is just, I didn't see that, but I believe Espub's because he's more up on the up than I am on the true and true, right, Taylor Field? But
True and true. Sorry, what movie is he referring to?
The Marvels. Oh. Being 1/3 musical. So Dylan, what do you think about this, of like the Marvels having 1/3 of the film being a musical?
It's very strange. But I'm down for it. I don't know. I think they could. I feel like my hype for this project has kind of plummeted.
Right.
In that Miss Marvel didn't really land for me. The last 4 episodes didn't work for me. And honestly, Captain Marvel's a movie that just, I don't know. That's like really floated towards the bottom of my MCU rankings, which we'll get to at the end of the year again. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, I mean, I like both those characters. I like both the performances from the actresses, but I know there's another character in there as well, but I don't know. I guess I'm like pretty low on the hype side. So to do something zany like this, I could be down for. It's something different from the MCU. I'd be really curious how they work it into the story and the world and make it fit in with that MCU machine that we know of. So I don't know. This is a very strange. There's a very strange rumor. I don't know, like how reputable is this? The source?
I think it's happening from the sources I've seen. Yeah, it's looking like it's happening. Now, Espubs with a great question. If you had to choose which act of the movie, what do you think it would be, or even what would you say? What would it be? So not even what you think, what you would. So you got the first act, you got the opening, you got the middle, rising action, the conflict, and then you got the final, battle, the third act. What would you go with?
Well, I mean, if you take that turn in the end of the movie. And you just turn it into. I feel like that could really hit people the wrong way. I feel like you got to do it right at the start.
Right at the start. Oh, okay.
That's my view. Yeah, I think you got to do it right at the start. Before people can get ready for it, it's like it's already happening. And I mean, I'm sure that'd be part of the marketing if it's that big chunk of it. But yeah, what a weird rumor. Who's the director for this? And
Nia DaCosta, who did Candyman, the latest one.
Right.
So I like that choice because
Wow.
there's things in Candyman I really liked. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping. See, I would go the reverse. I'd go the third act because if people hate it, then at least the movie's about to end. Instead of if you start with it and they don't like it and maybe got a sour taste in their mouth the whole time, like, oh, that musical, that really took me out of it. But then I guess it could just leave a sour taste leaving the theater. And if they didn't like the musical, that's all they talk about is, hey, I didn't like that. Like I've heard a lot of people that didn't love Love and Thunder, didn't like Love and Thunder, where they said I liked the third act, but the first and second act didn't work because it was just so zany and so over the top, where at least the third act kind of brings it
Yeah.
down a little. But I don't know. It's one of these things that I appreciate. It's tough. I appreciate it because Phase 4 is definitely the experimental phase that everyone's kind of like coined it as. Like you look at WandaVision, you look at even the TV shows, you look at Eternals. Like there's tons of stuff where they've taken shots with, right? So I appreciate that. I guess how, like, it sounds so weird because Joker, I was completely on board. I'm like, oh, this is absolutely fantastic. Let's do this because I thought it made sense plot wise. This still makes sense plot wise, I guess, that they land on a planet maybe and they have to sing. I just don't know how much I want to see that in there. I just feel like, I guess, Joker, the musical part, I can have more fun with because you're going to be dealing with these two insane characters, lots of broad costumes, maybe very tongue in cheek. This could be that too, and it does almost fit with Miss Marvel. She had that like mini musical number in the show, right, where she's so it's like it does fit. I just. Oh man, as someone that's not a fan of musicals, I'm just like, this could be a thing where the same way people go Love and Thunder or Ragnarok, where it's just like, oh, I just check out, this humor's not for me. That could be this in this movie, and it's not what I was expecting at all. I was not expecting maybe a musical scene, but a whole entire act to be dedicated to a musical is tough. And like SBEP says, it depends who they get the music. Super bad. Mike says, I'd like them if the songs were Lin-Manuel Miranda, Marvel meets Hamilton. It'd be a good choice.
So, but the rumor is not that it's specifically an act. You're just, I think that was like a hypothetical question, right?
Yeah, but if it's 1/3, and if you're dividing the movie in Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, I would believe it's one of the acts.
Really? You don't think it would just be like sprinkled throughout and having musical numbers at certain points?
No, because I bet they probably land at this place and then leave the place, or that's where the final battle is,
What
right?
if
Because
the villain is Songbird, and I don't know where the musical part of that comes in, but just like something like that, where the villain or something like that has some sort of power. That is that a thing? Dig deep into your Marvel
it could
knowledge.
be, but I don't want that because that means like I would rather it be that, like, whether it's the beginning, middle, or end. I'd rather we do it and then move on or be done with it. I don't want it sprinkled throughout the film because then we keep coming back to it over and over and. Oh, I don't know. It's very interesting. I'm excited to see, and I'm actually excited to see if they do market it because I don't know if they will. They might keep it a surprise, and because that might turn off the hardcore base of we love superheroes and we love the action of it and everything like that. I don't know. It's a choice. At least it's being something different. But Taylor, where are you on this?
Well, I'm just trying to think, like, is there a huge following for like High School Musical and stuff like that? Because is that what they're kind of going for? Like the high school vibes, just throw the musical in there with superhero stuff? Because for me, that's not really my kind of gravy.
I like that you in High School Musical. Like there's hundreds of musicals. Like you got some like La La Land, which was like a worldwide sensation. But you pulled out High School Musical from Disney
I was looking
Channel.
at something that was aimed at Disney Channel, because it's. Can the comparison,
Family
the only thing
audience.
we have in comparison is Miss Marvel, which is aimed at a younger audience. So I'm attributing that to like the High School Musical aspect, where I imagine it's probably going to be for a younger audience still, with familiarity, so that long-term Marvel fans can go in and enjoy the general narrative of what's going on in the universe. But I don't know. It seems kind of out of left field all of a sudden. Like, hey, we're just gonna make Marvel's a musical.
But isn't if you start with WandaVision, that's even left field, right? First 3 episodes are a fake TV show. Nothing like that ever happened in the MCU, right? So like they've done some left field stuff,
and that's true. As long as they can write it in good, then I'm sure it'll be fine. Like the initial concept to me doesn't sound super like prime, but them being able to write it in, because we know in Doctor Strange there's different universes where like some universes you're literally like paint or goop, so honestly one could exist where all you do is sing to communicate, like you guys were talking about. So definitely plausible. Or Feige was just on the phone and he was like, hey, there's rumors that Joker 2 is going to be a musical.
No.
Let's cop in there first before they do it.
The Marvels have filmed like a long time ago. Joker 2 is not even in.
And they're
like,
refilming
production
scenes
yet.
now to make it a musical now.
They
so-
are they are reshooting scenes right now, but I don't. I
One
don't
third
think
of the
that's-
scenes.
I don't think that's it. Even though I don't know if this was announced, and SBubs, you can let me know. I think it was he let it slip. I think Samuel Jackson said he was in the Marvels. I don't think that was confirmed before, but now it's confirmed. Now he was in the first one, so it makes sense. But like, that's
So would
new
he know
news.
that though?
No, he just like he's filming right now, and then he like let it slip. He did that at Secret Invasion too. He's at he's in an interview once, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm so excited to be working with Martin Freeman, like in this Marvel show and stuff." And that's the guy who plays like what's his name, Agent Ross, like Black
Yeah.
Panther. So yeah, and he had never been announced for the show. So Samuel Jackson is like almost as bad as Tom Holland. If you look at his track record, he leaks stuff like all the time. And I think he accidentally said Don Cheadle's going to be in Secret Invasion as well as like War Machine or something. So
Well, let's just ask him then if it's a musical. Let's get him on
Yeah.
the pod.
Esther Badman says, "Can actors even sing well?" Well, Brie Larson sings in Scott Pilgrim versus the World, so you got her down.
And they probably
don't-
casted him on with that being a thing.
True. And Tiana, I'm pretty sure speaking of Henry Cavill, she did a very apparently terrible play with him. But lots of people have that Broadway stage play career usually can sing because those are usually numbers or things that you do in those things. So, but yeah. And then, okay, so not sure if he said it, but there was a lead casting grid for the Marvels he was on. Okay, so it was just a rumor, but now he's confirmed it because I guess he's shooting reshoots. So there you go. Nick Fury's coming back. That's the guy I'm definitely going to be looking for the draft next year because I forgot about our old Nick Fury. You know, he back in the day, if we did drafts for Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, he probably would have been the MVP pick because he was all over those movies, you know, just all the
Yeah,
time.
definitely.
End credits, appearances, multiple appearances with Skrulls and stuff like that, you know, so. Anything else on the Marvels?
No, I'm really curious to see that trailer now. See that in action.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll even get like we might get like a teaser of it this week. But again, it's not out till next July, so they might save that even for D23 or next year and stuff like that. So we'll see. So now I got a bunch of Marvel rumors to talk about. So these are just like Spitfire hot ones and whatnot. So Hawkeye may be getting a season 2. So I have two things to do with this. Of one, how do you feel about that? But two, SBubs brought up a great question. So Taylor, where are you as far as, you know, Hawkeye and Dylan, you saw Hawkeye, right?
Yes.
Okay, Hawkeye
Only
ended.
Eternals. The Eternals is
Right.
the only.
Okay,
thing
all
I've
Eternals.
seen.
Okay. So Hawkeye ended. You know, they beat the bad guys. Fisk got shot in a very terrible costume. That I know people are like, it's from the comic books. It's like, doesn't matter. Still look goofy. You know, they beat everybody. Clint brought Kate home for Christmas, and that was the end of it. And I think I know when we were reviewing it live, we all thought it was going to get the Loki treatment of the end credit with season 2 coming soon, and that didn't happen, right? So, how do you feel about it getting a season 2 as far as it's rumored to be in development?
Well, I don't necessarily feel like it needs a season 2. I mean, I feel like it's just gonna be more adventures of just like Hawkeyes. Like I feel
Yeah.
like
I would assume so. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like we got a good dose of that in the first season. Like if you do another season, is it just gonna be more of the same? That's what I'm kind of panicking on. I feel like where that show ended on set
Panicking.
us up on a trajectory to pursue with Echo and those characters more so than kind of give us more segue into like what's going on here. Because even with the comic that we read, I mean, maybe there's obviously more comic runs that we can dive into, but I feel like they kind of tackled that narrative basically throughout this show. So I
what
feel
would
like
you
if-
do if there's no season 2? What would you do with Clint and Kate? Because I think that might be it. It's just like, hey, we want to put them on more adventures. Maybe that's not worth a movie. So
Oh, yeah, I guess. I feel like I
the
feel
chat
like
is very
you-
much in sync with Yelena, and I think that's more what I'd want if they just said they were doing a Black Widow Hawkeye show, but it was Florence Pugh and Haley Steinfeld. That like, and I like Jeremy Renner. I think he's great as Hawkeye, but I think that's what people are. That's
Well,
what
that
they're
makes-
really wanting right now.
That makes more sense to me because with Jeremy, I think like he hasn't retired the mantle of Hawkeye or anything by any means. I don't think so. Like he's still like they didn't kill him off until we get like the the golden moment of him just like in the window having dinner with his family, like all together happy and stuff like that, and like that's it, I'm done. That's done for me. Like a good send off kind of thing, which I don't think we have that send off with him yet. So
I feel like
think
you could have done that. That feels him going home for Christmas kind of feels like that. You don't have
you
to.
think
see him
that's
again.
it? So no more Hawkeye. That's
No,
it
I
for
don't
him.
think that's it, but I would like it to be for a while. I think Hawkeye's one of those characters I would have liked to get a semi-happy ending because he went through so much stuff.
I agree.
You know, and
I think
if
that's
you keep
definitely
bringing him
warranted.
back, you're gonna have to kill him. I think eventually.
Well, that's just it. That's why I don't think you bring him back for season 2. You put him away in the corner, save him for one last
the
hurrah, and then give him like his happy due that he's due, I guess.
Happy do that.
What
he's
did
doing-
you
okay,
just say?
you sound like me in the opening over there. Brad Pitt for roles. But what if the show is Hawkeye season 2, but it's primarily just Kate Bishop because she does become Hawkeye, right? So what if it's
That's
her
fine.
and maybe you get like Clint appearing in a episode or
That's
something
100%
like that?
what I thought was
Yeah.
what this would be if we were getting to season 2. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
and there's
prefer
no
that.
rumors around what it would be. It's just that season 2 is in development. That's just the rumor.
I'd prefer that because I don't want to see just again more of the same between Kate Bishop and Clint. Like I want to see.
What's his
like,
full
that's-
name, Taylor?
What?
What's his full name? Because you said her full name, so I feel like you forgot his.
I totally forgot his last
I
name.
knew it. I knew it.
Yeah,
He's
you
like
got me.
because you
Starts
said
with
Kate
a
Bishop
B.
and Clint, and your hand was like doing this thing like you were searching for it, and you just stopped. I'm like, oh,
You
he
said it
didn't
starts
got
with a
it.
B.
Starts
Yeah.
with a B.
Why can't I remember?
Baxter.
Clint Baxter?
No,
Fuck, that's not it.
Barden.
Oh, thank you. God damn it. Oh, can roast me, S-Bubs.
Are you got a fan in the chat there, Dylan? Yo, is that former Twitch Smash streamer Dylan?
Dylan, yeah.
Do you not
me.
know Jay Walker? Do you not know him from anything else? Or
Jaywalker?
the reason I highlight him because I just thought it was one of your friends crashing the stream like usually that happens, but no. So you have people out there who are fan of your Smash days, you know.
Hello, welcome to the Geekverse.
John Walker. Isn't that
Yeah, John
U.S.
Walker.
agent
This is what I do
in the
now.
chat?
yeah.
I hung up the GameCube controller many moons ago.
Oh, he
I
used
still
to be
play
the
it,
chicken
never
2020. is who
Oh,
he
I
used
remember
to
the
be.
chicken. What's up, chicken? The chicken
That's
was the number
awesome.
one fan of my Twitch stream was called Spelunky Smash, I think, at the time, which
there
is an
you go.
awful name. But that was behind me.
No,
But
I don't
welcome.
I don't know
Great.
it's Jay Walker, but I remember Dylan talking about the chicken. And because I
Yeah.
feel like chicken, you came
You're
up a few
streaming
times.
legend.
Yeah, I feel like there's times too when we're doing a charity live stream, you'd pop up. You're like the chicken, and then like
Okay.
you can't forget about the name, the chicken.
I'm
you know,
sorry
like,
that I
you're-
forget the Jaywalker name. The chicken is the memorable name for me. But
Wasn't
Good to see
there?
ya.
Wasn't there a Clint? Yeah, but I feel like the mantle's kind of passed off for now. You know, so
I think
but,
so too.
Yeah,
I
I think you can have him come back in a crossover, but I don't need that to happen. But I'm all down for more. Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop, thought she was a great character, like great performance. We all kind of thought that, right? Every time she was rumored. So whether it's this, whether it's Black Widow and Hawkeye, whether it's her in the Young Avengers movies, I don't care. Just give me more Kate Bishop. So sounds like you're in the same corner there, Dylan, that you've been putting with Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm there in the corner with whatever his last name is, Jeremy something.
Baxter.
Do you forget his last name now, Dylan?
No, I'm memeing.
Oh, okay. It's Baxter, yeah.
It's Baxter. Yeah.
Jeremy Baxter.
Yeah, I really liked Hawkeye. Not to spoil S-Bub's question that we have later on, but I really like that show. It definitely has some flaws here or there, but I just love Kate Bishop. I liked getting more and more time with Clint as kind of not being just that character in the corner that he always kind of seemed to be in the Avengers movies and such. So I'm very excited for this announcement, or I guess this rumor, I should say. And I really want it to be a Yelena thing. I want her to be in there, and for it to be a duo, absolutely. But I love Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop. I think she's fantastic. Very consistent character, flawed character that has a lot of places to go in a way that I find very exciting. Unlike Miss Marvel, which I think totally fumbled who that character was in the last 4 episodes. And so I think there's so much that could be done. And yeah, I also feel like if the next thing she's in is Young Avengers, I mean, I guess that movie could have a lot of setup of here's your team and stuff. But I think, a season 2 could be a great way to, I mean, if Yelena's once again in it, to get them paired up truly, like for good. And, like leading to that, setting them up so that they would be on the radar, whoever the new Nick Fury is, or maybe it's just Nick Fury again, whoever's like setting up this team. And so yeah, I think there's a lot you could do in season 2. Obviously, throw on any number of villains. You could throw in all these street level characters that Taylor was alluding to, like Echo and I mean Daredevil's gonna be kicked around. She-Hulk's gonna be hanging out in the streets now. Fisk, like there's a lot of people just around now. Maybe even bring a Jessica Jones in there. Tons of them. So I feel like there's a ton of room for this. And yeah, I'm very very excited for this. I hope it is a true rumor.
Well, let's take a ad break, and then we're going to get Espo's question, which Dylan was kind of alluding to right after this. And we're back. So, Dylan, I feel like you kind of answered it, but you can answer it again if you want to. But Esbobs, that's what you can go over to Patreon. Either you can be in live chat or in the Patreon, send questions in advance at any tier. He said, if you had a chance to choose only one Marvel Disney Plus show to get second season, what would it be? And yours would be Hawkeye, I imagine, right? That's the one with the bullet.
I'm feeling very lucky because I feel like my two answers would be Hawkeye or Loki, which Loki is obviously it's already filming, right?
Yeah, it's filming right now.
Yeah, so I mean those would be my two because I love WandaVision and I love that character, but I don't know if I want the second season of that show. In terms of like I'm not like, one of the things I don't really love about that show is where they left off with Vision actually. So I'm sure if they called it WandaVision season 2, he would be a big part of it again. And I mean, I'd be down to see what they do with that character. But anyway, I want to see Wanda in the movies for the future. And so I think the next two that make sense for me are Hawkeye and Loki. And since Loki already is confirmed, I don't know if that's a cheat, but I would pick Hawkeye if I had to pick one. Because once again, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I love that show as well. But I also feel like that's kind of cheating because we already know that Captain America 4 is happening. So I don't feel like I need another season of the show if we're getting him appearing in the movie. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go next because I feel like I'm the same as Dylan, that all the stuff that I'd want a season 2 of, I'm getting, or a follow-up. You got Loki season 2. We're getting Cap 4. I very much believe whether it's this weekend or D23, we're going to get the next Wanda-S project. So whether that's a show or movie, I don't even need to be WandaVision, but just like if it's a series of following up on Wanda and it's just called Scarlet Witch, that works for me. So I guess WandaVision would be my answer, but I feel like that's happening. Other ones we have no announcements for. Like, there is part of me that I still, because I love them so much that I want it to be better as Moon Knight. Yeah, it's just because I want another crack at that. And I would love to actually see him be Moon Knight and be an actual, I guess not New York now, but London, just him actually crime fighting and being on the streets, because he has some weird stuff going on, but he is usually known as one of those like street level characters, and I feel like that did not happen with the show in the first 2 episodes, and then right away we're in Egypt and we're fighting big alligators, and I would just love it where he is in London and he's taking out crime and stuff like that, and you can still have the trippy stuff, everything like that, but I just feel like they got too big for their bridges, so I would like that, preferably with a new showrunner. And On the Game is right where you got Agatha Harkness happening for WandaVision already. So that's true. You are kind of getting like a semi-sequel. And Wonder Man might be a spinoff. We'll see. Like, I know they have connection to the comic book, but On the Game, you're completely right about Agatha. So the only one really that doesn't right now, and that's because they're the newest, is what we just got Miss Marvel, but that has a follow-up. You got Moon Knight. I feel like Moon Knight's the only one really that doesn't have like a direct, hey, we're doing this next. And I guess Hawkeye, but if this rumor is to be true, that's not the case anymore, right? So, and the other one I would have said honestly too, but again, it has a second season. What if? Because what if I'll take 10 years of What If. I'll take always just like 10 episodes of different weird stories with different characters, sure. Because there's nothing go wrong. If you get a bad episode, it's like an anthology show. Oh, you move on. Then you get another one next week. So, Taylor, I feel like we kind of covered the gamut. But are you on those? Is there anything we didn't list that you'd want season 2 of or something?
Well, yeah, everything basically has a follow-up in some shape or form. Movie, sequel series, like, it really only leaves Hawkeye on the table. Unless we were to just completely go bold and be like, okay, let's...
And Moon Knight, you got those too.
Well, and Moon Knight, yeah. Let's go bold and say, I want to see a She-Hulk season 2, not even out yet. Let's get something like that. Just get the ball rolling. So... But truth be told, I would much rather see a season 2 of Moon Knight with you, Travis. I think it's just they need to kind of give us a little bit more there, because the finale, like, I can't remember how I felt about it, but like in retrospect, like right now, I just feel like I wasn't positive on it, and it's just
you said it was the worst thing you had ever seen. It was pretty harsh.
Worst than Miss Marvel.
Yeah. Well, you hadn't seen Miss Marvel at that point, right? So now,
right,
now
of
you can-
course. Yeah.
I feel like Moon Knight has not aged well in my mind in these last few months.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, I can't speak for Dylan's mind. I can
You're in
agree
there.
in my mind as well, but I would think so for Dylan's mind as well too. I just almost forget that it happened, which sucks because
It's true.
Oscar was so great in it. But I think it's just again, it's those last few episodes at the end where it just like it goes down this route and stuff. So. Well, speaking of street level heroes, Taylor, you're gonna have nothing to add on this, but these are just quick hits. Dylan, there is a rumor that Kingpin and Vanessa, played by the same actress, Vanessa, is gonna be in Daredevil.
Just like that, Taylor.
I don't have much to say on this other than like. Great. I know we've talked about before that who knows, maybe they're never going to address the Netflix continuity, maybe they're never going to make it whole, but obviously we got him back. I really liked her as Vanessa. They had good chemistry, so 100% I'm down. I hope this rumor is true. And again, I like that we just feels like every couple weeks now we're getting more rumors about this Daredevil show, so it's already been announced it's happening, but I just like that clearly that means there's people like the wheels are spinning around and stuff I think is starting to leak out, and I'm happy because that means we're probably getting closer to casting more people and shooting. And what does that mean about Karen or Foggy? Like, are they back too? You know, stuff like that. So
is specifically that actress as Vanessa or just more the character?
that actress as Vanessa, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm down for that. You have to remind me, what was like and this is maybe spoilers, I guess, but where did like her character leave off by the end of Daredevil season 3?
So, Taylor, if you don't want to hear, you can take your headphones off for 30 seconds. But what happens is, remember, Matt gets some evidence on her, and he tells Kingpin, if you ever come out, I'm going to give this evidence to cops, and she's going to go away forever. So, and that's where he stops Kingpin. But I imagine Kingpin, if it's the same continuity, he has a way to get out of this situation.
Of course, yeah. Okay.
I mean, he's not going to see the thumbs up, but
he's looking away.
She was in a compromising position, but she's good now. Yeah. You're good now, cool. Taylor.
Yeah, I don't honestly. I think of all the characters in Daredevil, there's a lot more that I would be more hyped for. I think this is fine. I guess I like for as much as I love that show. I mean, not enough clearly to remember all the plot points. I don't know. This doesn't really do anything for me personally. Give me Elektra, give me Karen or Foggy or John Bernthal. Like, I don't know. I could name off like 15 characters I think I'd rather see before now. And not to say anything against their performance, it's just like the level that character. Bring back Bullseye. Oh yeah, bring back Bullseye. There's a lot more I'd be more hyped for than this is just like, all right, cool. Sounds good.
That's fair. Now I'm gonna do the reverse where only Taylor can speak on this one. So Moses Ingram, Taylor, obviously she have played a very controversial character named Reva in Kenobi. Some people love her, some people hate her, some people are in the middle, some people don't like the acting, some people don't like the character. So we saw the whole spectrum of that character. Some people are just racist bigots. So we're all over the place, right? We don't know where people feel, but there's a rumor, and this is like from like a C+ tier, that Marvel has been talking to her about a role. Is this something you would be excited about? And two, do you have anybody like fan casting in your mind that you could see Moses Ingram as?
Fan casts, I would need more time to think. That's
fine.
Too on the spot.
I gave you this morning, but that's okay.
Did you really?
Yeah, everyone just yells out Storm, but I feel like every African American actress that has long hair, everyone just jumps to Storm right away. And as we've seen, there's many characters, but there's also many characters like they could be race swapping Sue Storm. Like they've race swapped so many characters. So like I know people are like, oh, X-Men are coming, it has to be Storm, but there's just so many out there that I don't think it's like that easy. X-Men could still be 3 years off, but if you don't know a role from her acting in Kenobi, would you be for her joining the MCU in some capacity?
Yeah, absolutely. I think she's fantastic. I really liked her in Obi-Wan. I think she was definitely a very emotional character. She delivered on the scenes. Could the writing have been a little bit better for some of her stuff? Yeah, but I don't attribute that to any fault of hers. I think she's a great actress, and yeah, give her a Marvel title. Let's throw her in a super suit and see what she's got. So.
Yeah, I think I'm right exactly where you are, where it feels a lot like Amon and Miss Marvel, where Amon was great, but sometimes the writing around her wasn't. I don't know if she's the same level as Amon, but I think Amon was just perfect for Miss Marvel, and Amon also has decades of material to read off of and kind of base a character, where Reva was this original character created for Obi-Wan. Hey, we're just doing this, go with it. And I think the writing for her character was very all over the map, and I could see that as an actress being very hard, and not in like a Moon Knight way, just in a way of like, I did not think the arc was fulfilling, and I still think, we talk about this all the time, that she's in the Disney family now. People have talked about her doing more with this Reva character, so I could believe it. There's lots of roles I could see her in. I just hope that if I see her in the Marvel, whatever project it may be, I hope I don't get the same feeling of, oh, there's some scenes where she's great and some scenes where she's not, because then it would be, it's not the scripting, it's more an acting thing. Because I thought there were some scenes where she knocked it out of the park, and then there's some scenes where it felt very wooden and stale. But that was sometimes because the character was very wooden and stale. So
aside from Oscar Isaacs, how many other actors from Star Wars have jumped over to the MCU? Because I feel like it's just a lot of MCU actors that are kind of jumping into Star Wars, like Eric
Richard E.
Selvig
Grant, he got him. Amelia Clark. Yeah, we did this last week.
Well, he went from Star Wars to, was Rise of Skywalker before Loki, or Loki before?
Yeah, it was before Loki. So you got Oscar, you got Richard E. Grant, you got Amelia Clark, like Dylan said. You now have Alden Ehrenreich, who's supposedly playing Obadiah Stane's son in Ironheart. So the villain Iron Man 1, he's supposedly playing his son. So, and I think last week we found a fifth one. So in the chat, if there's anybody that has one, let me know. And I did not see no, and this is the thing, and people are going to take away my Anya Army card, but I've still not seen Queen's Gambit. Have you seen Queen's Gambit?
I have, and I honestly don't remember the character that she played in it, even though I really like that show. I was going to say, Mads Mikkelsen, what was first, Rogue One or Doctor Strange?
Gotta be Doctor Strange. What? No.
So he's another one.
I think so, right? Or was I wrong? I think Rogue One was 2016 it's 2017 for Strange, and then Rogue One was 2016. So that would be a fifth one, but I don't think that's the one we got. So I feel like Taylor's looking it up right now.
It happens a lot.
It's funny. I don't know if the reverse has been happening. It doesn't feel like lots of Marvel actors are going over into Star Wars. It just feels the opposite. But I guess maybe it's just because with Marvel you get busy. As Bub says, as Samuel L. Jackson technically. But no, Queen's Gambit I want to watch.
So. Hey, I like
Queen's Gambit I want to watch. I love Anya. It's just because I think it's a show I haven't had time, but it's on my list, and I will this very soon because I love Anya.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's a great show. I do not remember.
I'll pull. Do you even know what Moses Ingram looks like? Would that help you if I were to pull up?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so then clearly not anything too well for Dylan to be like, yeah, that's great. So
Doctor Strange came out November 4th in the United States, 2016. And Rogue One came out December 16th, 2016.
Okay,
so technically,
fair enough.
It's clear.
Yeah, Doctor Strange came out a month before. She was apparently the best friend's character, Dylan.
The best friend's character? The best
or the
friend?
the best friend, not the character, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what you want me to say. I still don't remember.
Well, there you go. That's what we think about Moses Ingram. And then we got our last two here. Not much to add here, but just a little update that apparently, and we could even find this out this weekend confirmed, Echo, Secret Invasion, Agatha House of Harkness, Ironheart, Loki Season 2 are all set to release in 2023. Obviously, those are just the live action shows. I think that all makes sense. That's a stacked year if we do get all that. The only one I question is Agatha, because I feel like we've heard very little other than just it's happening. Oh, look at that. S-Bub's coming in for another one. Carly from Falcon Winter Soldier.
God damn.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So that's 5 for sure. That's 5. Not counting Samuel and not counting Mads. But yeah, so that's a banger year if all of those come out. Agatha, like I said, I'm not sure if that's going to actually happen just because we've heard very little on it other than it's happening. But all these other shows, they're filming right now. They're in pre or post production. So I can believe that. And that seems like a healthy, that's 5 shows that Agatha does come out. I think that's a healthy amount for 1 year.
So looking at this, Secret Invasion filmed like years ago. I'm exaggerating, but it's done filming.
I was like, what the? Yeah, it
Loki
is, yeah.
Season 2 is filming right now. The rest of these, Echo, we've gotten a lot of word on recently, but it hasn't actually started filming yet.
No, it is filming right now because apparently Charlie Cox
currently.
did a scene 2 years ago. Fuck, 2 weeks ago.
2
years ago.
And then-
they're planning way ahead of the MCU now.
And then
Ironheart, I think Ironheart is about to or is filming as well.
Okay.
Because I think that's why Alden got cast just recently because he's the villain of the show. So I think
Right.
that's why. So I think it's about to go into.
Ironheart, yeah, that one makes a lot of sense. Black Panther, that's where the character is getting introduced. you do a post-credit scene setting up that show.
Yeah.
Or that's what I assume would happen. It doesn't
I
have to
think so.
necessarily be a post-credit, but I mean the character will largely be set up anyway. So that one, that's like a home run. I think Loki's a good one because I feel like that's not one that would get like pushed or have issues. I feel like it's kind of solid at this point. Like maybe
season 2.
maybe Echo like runs into some issues. They need to redo stuff or edit or change some things around. But I feel like Loki, you're kind of good to go there. Yeah, I think you, as you mentioned, Travis. I think Agatha's the one that I don't know. That feels like a bit of a stretch, and I'd like to see it because I think the further you get from WandaVision, the less that show is going to hit for people. But yeah, I don't know. That just seems like a bit of an oddball to throw in the mix, especially when you factor in. I assume like an animated show or two is going to come out next year as well.
Oh, well, they already confirmed X-Men and Marvel Zombies What If for sure. So those will fill some of those gaps. That is a lot. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Agatha, Superman Mike says, Agatha's the only MCU thing coming out I have no interest in. She was okay in the small doses. See, I'm really excited for that because I'm excited for them getting more supernatural stuff. The only one I feel that way is about Echo, but already because they've said Kingpin and Daredevil are in it, I'm excited. But let's say if you took them out, I have no excitement for Echo right now other than, okay, I like the character enough. They just didn't sell me on the like why she needs a solo show, but, hopefully they will do that. So
It'll be kind of cool to see Agatha in a setting without the Darkhold as well, because that was something that she relied on.
You're 100% right.
I thought of one more Star Wars to Marvel. I don't know if we mentioned this. Lupita Nyong'o. She was in.
That's true.
She's the voice of Maz first, and then I don't know what filmed first because I think they came out at a similar time. But
no, Black Panther was 2018. Force Awakens was 2015. There's 3 years apart with those bad boys. So.
She was in the first. She was in the first. I guess she was, right?
Yeah. Where's my Wookiee? Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. That's
it's a fun thought experiment.
Wait, you said Emilia Clarke was one of them, Travis?
Secret Invasion.
Solo, and she's in Secret Invasion.
Oh, she's guaranteed in Secret Invasion?
I got my point.
Yes, she's filming. She's talked about it. She's rumored to be the lead villain. It's happening. So, let's see. What was the selling point of the Agatha show then? That's a good point. So I think with Echo, to me, the problem was they were setting up this whole confrontation with her and her uncle, right? That turned out to be Kingpin. But then looking at the show, she shot her uncle in the head and he seemingly was dead. So I was like, well, that seems like a non-issue. Clearly, Kingpin's not dead. He's going to come back. By the time, it's like, what's the issue here? Agatha, I guess it's just because I'm interested in more of them doing whether like I loved that scene in WandaVision when they showed her prequel when like all the witches had her tied up and she started sucking their souls. For me, that's just the selling point of seeing more of that side of the MCU, supernatural, witchcraft, dark stuff like that. That's why I'm into that show. And just even then, it left her in a place of like she doesn't remember who she is and she's locked in this town. Already, I'm excited to see how does she get out of this situation. So that's what sold me on that show.
Did we mention Oscar Isaac? That's another one, right?
Yeah, I looked at a list and I shouldn't have.
Yeah, no,
that's
how we started. That's how we started. Yeah,
There's a fuck
There's
ton
Paul
more?
Bettany. Paul Bettany's one.
No, he was in
he
Solo
started in
afterwards.
Marvel. Yeah, he started in Marvel's Vision and then went to Solo.
Yeah.
So he
Then
doesn't
went to
count.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
okay,
I guess
got that confused.
still, no, this is good. Go down this list because I did say to Dylan, I said, I don't know how many people are doing the reverse. Okay, Paul Bettany did the reverse. Who else you got on this list?
We got Natalie Portman, so that was Star Wars, then Marvel.
Don't count the non-Disney. Just the Disney era.
I'm thinking the new trilogy. Or stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not counting Woody Harrelson. That's something else. Jon Favreau, I guess.
I guess technically he went from Marvel to Star Wars. He is in Mandalorian as a Mando.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Andy Serkis is another.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he was Snoke to Claw. Yeah, actually, no, he was Claw to Snoke because Claw came out first in Age of Ultron. Yeah.
Ben Mendelsohn. There's another one there.
Oh right, he was the villain in Rogue One, and he was in See,
I
they
just watched
definitely.
that episode of Barry last night. Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh yeah, Ben Mendelsohn, very good. Yeah.
I guess
He's gonna be
Donald
Spider-Man
Glover.
too, I think. Right?
Yeah, he was Solo and then Spider-Man Homecoming. He's Miles' uncle, which is still not paid off at all. We're still waiting for him to be
I hope
Miles'
that
uncle.
pays off.
I hope so. If they never bring him back and they introduce Miles, I'm gonna be so pissed. Like, you got this guy. Okay. Well, I don't think we're wrong in saying that they share a bunch of talent. Like, as we've seen, we've gone past 10 of like multiple occasions. So, I think you're forgetting Jon Favreau's massive role in Solo. Oh, right. He was that little alien dude, too. He voiced him. I forgot. So
Oh,
he
the
went.
little green guy, or
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah. Sorry. I forgot about that. So there you go. Espo's always keeping us on our toes. So, and finally, about this was kind of, I threw this in the Marvel questions and whatnot, but Josh, are right. Patreon, send it in. Thoughts on Tom Holland not voicing Peter in Spider-Man freshman year? Who, if anyone else, do you think could fit or be a good fit for the role? So this is. I think this is pretty much confirmed. It's coming from C+ tiers, and I'm not surprised because like it's the same peer, but I just didn't think they were gonna get him down for maybe like an 8-12 thing. I just thought it might be too expensive. What I'm completely fine is if I think everyone said the same thing. The guy who voiced him in What If did a great job. Done. Just get that same guy again. He sounded enough like Tom Holland, but he sounded a little bit different. I'm sure there's lots of great voice actors, but if it's not broken, don't fix it. Just get that What If guy again, and I'm just so excited for that show. But yeah, get the guy from What If. Works for me.
I'm trying to find out who that was.
There you go. What about you, Taylor? Well, Dylan looks up. Are you fine with the What If guy, or would you want a new person, or is there someone like classic you want to bring back? Chris Pine?
Yeah, Chris Pine. The What If voice actor is totally acceptable. If not him, if he's busy, he's on vacation, let's get Matt Lintz in there. I want to see him voice Peter Parker.
Who's he from? I don't know.
He was Bruno in Miss Marvel. Just bring him in. He doesn't have. He's not.
You had to Google that name, right? You didn't have that top of mind.
I did not have that on top of my head. No, I was like, what's Bruno's name? Matt Lintz. Let's get him in there. I mean, why not? They already got his audition tape, so we know he's good to go. Foot in the door.
Yep, you're not wrong. So.
Not wrong.
Did you get that guy's name yet, Dylan? From What If?
It's hard because on IMDb it's like additional voices. And
Yeah.
like all of them. So
Let's
I
see who
can't-
wins, Dylan or S Bubs in the chat. Go
I
right
already-
now.
I
Let's see.
forfeit.
Confuse people and get the voice actor from the PS4
that was
game.
my suggestion. Yuri
Yeah.
Lowenthal is
Yeah.
I believe his
He's good.
name. He's great. He's played the character in many more forms than just that game too.
Oh yeah.
Like he's played the character a lot, I think. So I think that's a really good pick.
I'd be
I
down.
don't- Yeah, I don't know if I have like another suggestion for someone. I think that was one I was thinking of.
The '90s animated one, Dylan. Get that guy back. You know.
Oh hell yeah, I'm down for that.
They better. What I'm waiting for is him to be in Spider-Verse. You know, I hope, because I'm not sure if you've seen this, Dylan, but the very first teaser for Spider-Verse, when you I think it's when you pause one of the logos looks like the '94 animated show. So people are hoping that we get some of that Spidey action. So let's hope. But yeah, Joss Keaton. Oh well, I don't know. We got two. We got Joss Keaton and then Hudson Thames, says S Bub. So Dylan's looking it up right now. I'm sorry, Clay. I'm gonna trust S Bubs just because like S Bubs is our guy in the chair. But S Bubs, if Clay beats you and you got this wrong, this is gonna be a
You
mark.
have to
Isn't
forfeit your
Spider-Man in multiple-
fandom to the
Is
GeekVerse.
Spider-Man in multiple episodes? Maybe there is two separate people.
S
I
Bubs
think
is some
I think he-
according to
notes.
IMDb, S Bubs is correct.
I think he's Joss Keaton is the guy. Oh, maybe Fanboy Clay might just be saying his suggestion maybe too of who could play him, because people have suggested this guy as well. So
No,
Well,
I
that-
think he was saying that.
yeah, dead wrong. But yeah, okay. So Hudson Thames. So yeah, no, I think he was in 2 episodes. So, but yeah, we'll find out this weekend. I guess Friday. It's almost 2 days away. So there you go. So let's take our last ad break. We'll talk about some trailers, and we'll be right back. And we're back. So you know what? Halloween ends and Jeepers Creepers. So Dylan, I'm gonna end with you because I got a good question to pose to you, because I doubt you're seeing Halloween ends and I doubt you're seeing Jeepers Creepers, but I got a thought-provoking one, I think. So Taylor Field, I think you and I somehow were on the same wavelength that Halloween Kills did not really work for us. I think it worked for you more so than me. I don't think you failed it. I think I failed it, but I still think you admitted that you were kind of disappointed in it. Did this trailer do anything to get you going? Because it was a lot of shots of just Jamie Lee and Michael running around.
Yeah, they didn't show a lot, and I attribute that to being they have a few surprises up their sleeve for this, because they're treating it, again, it's Halloween Ends, the conclusion of the trilogy. So Michael has survived this whole year, and now he's back, and Jamie Lee Curtis is just in a standard home now, fully aware that Michael is out there, and decorated her home for Halloween, it looks like, too, judging by this trailer. So it's questionable. I don't know. Like, from what they showed, it's hard for me to buy into it. Like, I feel like she would have spent the whole year literally hunting Michael Myers down. Instead, she's standing in her bedroom with the gun pointed at the doorway. What if that was her granddaughter that walked in? Holy shit. Could have been real bad, but alas, here we are. It didn't give me any substance to really run with. It was just a little bit of just, ooh, and then that's pretty much it. I have high expectations because I think I want to think that this is going to be like a good banger closeout to the trilogy, that maybe they'll see what didn't really work in the previous movie and that maybe they'll apply it this time around and deliver on it, hopefully. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, Halloween, this whole trilogy has been such a disappointment, but Halloween Kills left me in such a bad spot. I get why they did they did this big kill. I won't say who, but they did a big kill that would motivate Jamie Lee. I think that was great for finale. We got that awful scene of those guys beating him down and he just resurrected himself. You can go check out our review.
So good. I love that scene.
It was good, but it wasn't. Either way, so this trailer does nothing for me at all. It's just people running around doing Halloween stuff. So I don't think you're going to get anything. And I do think, Taylor, you should lower your expectations. I'm not going to say what they are. I have just seen some of the talk of what the test screenings are and what the plot line has been. And man, if it's true, I am not looking forward to that. And I'm not even talking about, they had talked about this a few years ago that the director's like, yeah, and then in Halloween Ends, because Espo's right, it's a 4-year time jump where, oh yeah, and we're going to cover COVID. I do not want Halloween Ends to be covering COVID at all. Like, I don't go to my Halloween movie to be like, how is Michael Myers and Laurie Strode struggling with COVID? It can be in movies, but I just don't see the filmmakers that have tackled the first two handling that. Well, I'm not saying it's going to be offensive, just like I don't see that other than just a almost gimmick that they're going to use. Taylor, you got your ET finger up.
So I thought it was a 1 year. It's a 4-year time jump.
Yeah,
from the last movie.
So
Holy fuck.
Michael's been on the run for 4 years now, and I guess Jamie Lee's just been hunting him down. But yeah, I've just heard some things about the plot and some of the characters in this that I'm not a fan of, and I've just heard that people said like, yeah, they're probably gonna mismarket it a different way, and that's what this trailer is, because I just feel like they're just showing scary stuff running around, and I will be there. I love Michael Myers. I love Jason Voorhees. I like my horror Halloween icon. So I will see it out, and it's probably the last time Jamie Lee will play the role, so I'm excited to see that. But I don't know. But Dylan, I know you saw the first one. I doubt you saw the second one, and I don't think you'll be seeing the second one to see this one, correct?
I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
There you go. So now I'm gonna ask Dylan, what's your history with Jeepers Creepers? Have you seen anything with Jeepers Creepers before? Because I feel like the original was one they played on TV a lot that kids like saw, but I don't know if you did.
I don't think I did. It's possible
'Kay.
somewhere back there, but it's not something I can bring forth in the memory banks.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, and then I'm going to throw it back to Dylan, and then I'm going to throw it to Taylor. Not to crush your hype, Taylor, but I just want to ask this question, because I talked about this with Dylan as well.
I thought you said, when you said go, I thought you meant like you were just going to leave.
I thought he was done.
No, sorry.
I'm like,
No.
What is this twist?
Just to get the full situation. So I saw Jeepers Creepers, same thing, that same situation on TV, and just like, what the fuck is this movie? Such a good movie. I don't know if it's a top 10 horror movie, but it's on that precipice. It's on the cusp, right? Number 2, it's fine. It's a good flick. I actually think it's better than fine. I really like the creeper character. And then what happened is this director goes away for a little bit, and we're waiting for Jeepers Creepers 3 and things like that. And I can't wait, because I'm a huge Jeepers Creeper fan. And then in that time, there was some controversy. It happened in the past, but it come again, that this guy, unfortunately, he was arrested for pedophilia and like child pornography and all this stuff. And so I could not watch the third one. I've not been able to watch the other two. Now, the good thing about this is Jeepers Creeper Reborn has nothing to do with him. He's getting no funds. That's what the studio says. He's not directing it, written it, nothing like that. I just hate that the one that he's not part of, for me, I'm not a fan of. Or like, this just looks super cheap. It looks very like, I have no interest in seeing this. I was like, man, I can't wait. Jeepers Creepers. I like this type of character. I got a director of hopefully a guy that's just a normal person that wants to make films. And this just looks super generic. They don't even show the creeper's face, and that's sort of the rumor is like the budget's really, really low. But that's where, like, I know Dylan, you probably saw this trailer, but also because we were talking about this, because I was talking about it with Taylor and Jessica, who she was a big creeper fan, but she didn't know this as well. What do you have in your like? Where do you draw the line as far as? And I think we've kind of dipped our toes in this before. Maybe we're getting a little serious, but I just wanted to ask, like, where do you draw the line as far as like the art, separating the art from the artist? Because it's like, I loved those movies, but I still haven't been able to go back and watch those. I haven't watched that third one. And Taylor has. I'm not trying to say Taylor's a bad person, because like other people have and things like that. And there's people that listen to music, all this stuff. like, where do you go on sort of that front? If you haven't seen Jeepers Creepers, I was just wondering, like, how do you space that apart? Especially like with us, we had seen all these films way before we knew any of this stuff, right? Like, how does that? I don't know if that impacts you. I guess we even deal with it in gaming community and stuff like that too sometimes, right? Like, look at an
It happens in
Activision
music.
stuff,
Yeah,
right?
it happens everywhere for sure. Yeah, I think it's something that's very difficult on a personal level to deal with. I mean, you really just got to take it like on a case by case basis for me. And there is, I'm trying to think of something that like I've not been able to go back and enjoy because of like things that have happened. Like I feel like I still like the movie Baby Driver, even though Kevin Spacey is like a
that's a big
weirdo.
one.
So,
Yeah, and I can still watch that somehow. But it's just like I guess for me it's where I always get hung up is on because he directed it, that it's like his full like his vision and everything. That's where it's like the actor's one piece, this little thing I can kind of separate that. But when it's like the whole guy behind it, it's like I can't get behind it, you know?
Yeah, I think that is definitely a level that's like too far gone, and I can't think of any like I don't know music or game or movie that I've enjoyed that like that kind of information came out about later on. But I feel like I'd be in the same boat as you. Like I can't watch that anymore. I think that's definitely like far over the line, and I don't know where my line is.
But that's one that's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
this trailer,
it's a tricky thing to deal with. So I know where you're coming from, and yeah, I feel like the trailer. I mean, I feel like both these trailers did very little for me. The Halloween ones, like, I don't know what is this? Like, I feel like they had filmed this trailer in like 5 minutes. They're like, okay,
100%,
just like rough her up a little bit, and like,
yeah.
Oh, we have this gun prop. Like here, like take this gun prop. Like the scene Taylor was alluding to. Just very weird, and yeah, I didn't really like that one that came out in. When was that? The one
2018.
I reviewed. Yeah, that's crazy. That was that long ago. Like it had some decent stuff in it, but I don't know, wasn't that great. So, yeah, Jeepers Creepers. I don't know if it was necessarily the budget thing for me. Like there was like I would be more interested in Jeepers Creepers than Halloween based on like if I had to pick between these trailers, but I don't think either of them are winners.
Yeah, and that's the same thing, Superbad Mike, and that's where like you can completely call me a hypocrite because the Bryan Singer thing that has happened, and it's because like unfortunately Bryan Singer.
I don't even know what went on there, to be honest.
It's similar situation, like similar things that he never got, and that's where me and Taylor are talking about that with other people. It's where he never got convicted, where this guy had pled guilty, done time, but that's where it's like that's tough because you got like Hugh Jackman in the first two X-Men and Days of Future Past. Days of Future Past, which I think is the best X-Men movie that's ever been made, that's just like about the team. He directed that, and that's where it's like it's just so tough, and I don't even think about that. Like, and I guess it's just because with that, I think because this was one of the first times I had found out about that. But like Taylor, you're the same as me. That like we and Clay said the same thing. He saw these before he didn't even know. Like, I think we had talked about before on cast like how much we put him in the poll. We talked about Halloween times. Like especially that first one is just so good, and the tension's so good, and it creates like this really cool character. Maybe this is part of the reason why it got held back a little bit in the future. People wanting not to like go around, and that's where I kind of hope this trailer, maybe it looks for me not the greatest. It looks very low budget. I know Taylor, you're like, I didn't like the fact that it was in a house because all the other Jeepers Creepers have been like he's flying around and doing all this stuff and everything like that. But this just feels like, hey, we don't got much money. Let's put the creeper in a house with the kids, and that's all we're gonna do and stuff like that. But you've sounded more positive on it, and the good thing is with this movie, you don't got to worry about anything because it's it's a hopefully normal people working behind this.
Yeah, for me, like, you look at the second one. The second one was mostly focused on just that bus. Yeah, you go out and about a little bit too with a couple of road scenes, but that was really not till the climactic parts of the film.
But the
which
bus
very
he got
well
to
could
fly.
exist.
He got to
What's
fly
that?
around. The bus he got to fly around.
True, and he very well could be flying inside the house. There's a lot of ample living room space, so we'll see. But it looks like we got to go to the carnival too and everything. So there are definitely going to be some interesting things. I honestly think they're going to go to the house just to party and have a good time, and then like maybe they'll just like run away and get to like the carnival, and that's when like the creeper's just gonna go fucking bonkers and killing people. As far as like crossing the line goes, I saw the first two way before I knew anything about what he did, and you know what? Am I a bad person? I like to think I'm not, but like when I found out about that thing, Did I watch the movie, the third one, to support him and everything? Not a freaking chance. I watched it because I wanted to see the continuation of the story that was created.
Well, and you didn't also, I think, watch it in a way that was, as Travis Hines would say, you watched off the back of the trailer, which people have said to watch it that way, and that's
yeah. My neighbor was watching it. I was just peering through the living room window and watched the whole thing that way. It was a good time.
Your neighbor has complained about you now because
many times. I keep watching his movies, but
yeah.
I think where the line is drawn, it's definitely just down to a personal opinion, I guess, a personal a perspective and affection of how this can hit you. Because at least for me, what a director does, when I'm a viewer, I don't have much association with the directors necessarily and what they've done that is very horrible in life. I have more of that with the actors. So when I watch something with Kevin Spacey, that hits me a little bit more, and I have actually not gone back. And I bought Baby Driver before this whole thing with Kevin Spacey came out. I bought it on DVD, and it's a movie I've always wanted to go back and see, but ever since this happened, I've actually never gone back and watched it. And the only time I did a Kevin Spacey movie was that was it the Patreon one where
American Beauty we had to do.
That was the only time. But other than that, I'm not actively seeking out, and I just, maybe that's where I draw the line when actors do things, because now that their representations that I got to enjoy them in these movies has been just saturated and just disgusted, and I don't like that. Whereas it's different with a director, because sure, that is their mind behind the project, but I guess I'm not visually seeing them, and I'm seeing these other actors deliver the story. So I guess that's where I'm at with it.
Well, and the tough thing is because people always do, whether it's them saving themselves or not, the argument is well, it's not that you're just not supporting that guy, but also the other people that worked on that could be completely innocent. Now, again, I guarantee there were some people for sure during these productions that didn't know this stuff was happening and things like that. So it's kind of do you punish the whole cast and crew for anything? It's the same conversation. It's not to the same level, but it's the same conversation about Ezra and the Flash. People going, well, I'm going to boycott that movie because of their activities, right? But then you go, well, then what about this new girl who's Supergirl, and this is a big moment for her and stuff like that, and but could you just kill that career right there? So it's I think Dylan said it's a case by case, but it's just one of these things of anytime it comes up. Now I think maybe in reverse, I probably will still maybe watch this and review with you, Taylor, because I'm always down to watch some bad horror movies and stuff like that. Now I want to ask you a complete now in the plot sense, I remember you always tell me oh, you're excited that they were setting up that Trish, the character. They set up a character in Jeepers Creepers 1, and so oh, she's come back. And it seemed like that was going to be the plot of this one, but now it seems because they've maybe rechanged some things, directors, everything like that. That doesn't seem like they're continuing on anything. So are you fine if there's no ties to sequels and it's just here's a creeper adventure, as someone that you were I thought getting excited for some of those characters to return from the original and stuff like that?
I would have been game for an OG character to reprise their role and go toe to toe with the creeper, but at the end of the day, maybe it's just the Predator aspect, us doing the Predator retros, but I'm really liking the anthology horror vibes.
Terrible timing with that word.
Oh yeah, no, not ideal. The Yautja Predator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Alien. I think that.
What did you just say? I'm on the Predator retros with you, and I'm not even following what you're talking about.
The Yautja, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Alien.
What's Yautja?
That's the Predator tribe. Their species,
what do you mean?
The Yautja.
They're called the Yautjas?
Yautja, yeah.
I never knew that, and you've probably mentioned to me.
I've told you that. I've told you that so
just
many
refer to them as the Predators, not the Yautjas.
Well, I can't because we're talking about Jeepers.
I guess you're right. Yeah. So the Yautjas, I'll try and remember that now. The Yautjas are the Predator aliens.
Yeah.
That's the best. They fight the Xenomorphs. That's a cool name. The best thing they had from them was the Yautjas. They sound like a drink on some restaurant or something. Give me a Yautja.
It looks cooler when you write it on paper than you say it. But no, I think that the anthology aspect for horror movies, I really like that idea, and maybe that's the key, the way to go. We're getting a trilogy for obviously Halloween, but maybe that's not what they should have done. Maybe we got that one send-off Halloween, the first one, which was great. And then all after that, it's just here and there anthology films. Just Michael Myers going around just dealing with different people instead of always trying to bring in the main character or whatever. That's what that old Friday the 13th was from 2009. And, well, no, that was more like a remake because he gets his mask and stuff. But we don't need the origin story and we don't need the sequel story. Just give us an anthology story in that universe because it works for me.
In retrospect, I really wish they did the anthology thing with Halloween. If we could have killed off Jamie Lee, and as much as I like Jamie Lee, because now where we are, this whole 3-film thing, and Oh man, you never will, Dylan. But I hope one day you just somehow have to watch Halloween 2 and just see what a fucking weird movie it is. Like it's not weird like A24. It's just like the choices they made and like Taylor, you remember that riot scene when they chased that hospital patient down and everything like that?
Yeah, the people were very rowdy in that moment.
It's a strange movie. But anything else on those trailers, movies, anything like that? Well, we did it. This is our last newscast before our next few days here. We got Nope, we got the Comic-Cons, and I hope when we're here on Saturday night and we're reflecting on Comic-Con, that was a great weekend and not a bunch of disappointment stuff. But either way, we'll have some fun. A big thank you to everyone in the live chat and the people that sent us questions, always keeping us on our toes, educating us, telling us we're wrong and everything like that. And SWAP says he's gonna be watching the Halloween movies for the first time this year. That's a good time to do it. I'm excited for you gotta watch even Halloween 3, and you know what? There may or may not be a retrospective happening around the holiday season. So look at that. So same thing like the Predator one. Jurassic World. Taylor made thumbnails. I had made thumbnails for the Halloween retrospectives like years ago. I think they're on my old laptop.
Did you really?
Yeah, because
you sent me some of them a long time ago.
We were supposed to do it in 2018, but we just got
Right.
too busy because it was just around like Endgame time and stuff. But yeah, those might be on my old laptop though. I don't even know if I have them.
Gotta pull those out. Gotta use them.
Yeah, so patrons, maybe look out for that. But actually, no, I won't use those. When we look at our old thumbnails, we got some negative spicy ones, so before I learned what you couldn't just
Before
change it.
you didn't have a mouse back then.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I can't remember when there was some thumbnail where it really came up. I feel like it was you two specifically that kept bugging me about the character's head looked so long or something like that, and I was like,
you'd never crop or anything. You'd always just stretch and squeeze. And
I was
all
always
that
trying to make
stuff.
it fit, but then eventually, okay, I see what they're talking about. So now that doesn't
It was
happen.
Kevin Feige. Remember he had like a bullet.
Right, Kevin Bullet Feige. Oh
Kevin
man,
Bullet Feige.
I wonder if
Little hat
that's
on
in
there,
yeah. I wonder if that's in the end credit or one of the bloopers. But yeah, now I remember it was the bullet because I did that, and that's why I was like, you know what,
Why
Taylor, you
long
make the
face,
thumbnail.
Feige?
Yeah, it
Oh,
was a
man.
long head. Yeah. Well, that's 502. Thank you very much for tuning in. Promise you next time.